Hello there, good night, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to be reviewing a paint set. And this paint set is somewhat cheap. I got it for $300 at the shop. It's the shop right by me, and it was a bit unexpected even though I usually see cheap art supplies there, like color pencils, markers, and stuff like that. More like stationery. Now I'm going to tell you from right off the bat, this paint set was aimed at a child, as you can see with the brush, but it's a watercolor set, and you know me, I love watercolor, so I decided to pick it up. And I'm going to tell you whether it is better than a paint set that I can get from out on the road for $200, or if it's not as good as that one. Now, it has 16 colors, coming with 1 yellow, 1 orange, 1 red, and 3 pinks. Now, from what I've gathered with all of the colors, they're pretty cool. They're not that vibrant. It's not eye-catching or anything that popped up. It's just these kind of cool, pretty colors. But overall, it's very nice and very fun to work with. Now, the one that I mentioned for $200, you have more paint in that one, and it's a Crayola set. So I'm very curious on why it's selling for $200. This one, it just says watercolor on it. Didn't really have much of a brand on it, so not really sure what the deal about it is. However, some things I don't like about it. The baby blue, if you notice the baby blue, it was right next to the green under the pink. That looks more like a gray, but it's honestly the baby blue. And the packet for $200 that contains 24 different colors of paint, and I'll be reviewing that. I'll be giving it a fair review because there are also some stuff about that I don't like. And for this, one of the things I didn't like about it is that it looks like you have barely a little bit paint inside, which I do know watercolor, you're supposed to dilute it with water and whatnot, but I will show you the packet that I get for $200, and you will see that one has a bit more paint than what this has. And the container it is in, well, I mean the one I got for $200, it's $200, so they're not hiding the fact that it's in a shitty container. The container for the $200 one, it's awful, but this one, even though it can open and close, which I do like about it, it's pretty flimsy if you ask me. Now, painting. I am not a professional whatsoever when it comes to painting with watercolor, but as you can see there, I started with the baby blue, which I've mentioned multiple times. It looks like gray, then to the darker blue, to black, and I tried to create somewhat of a gradient, but I guess I bit off way more than I can chew, but that is nothing new on this channel. Next thing too, it's another painting of Silly, which I had stopped drawing this character for a while on my channel now, but she is back again with a new look. She is much older, you know, she's a year older. We can all say if we're giving her the same birthday with me, on the same age with me. No, we're not. Silly's her own person. And she is out of water. Now, usually I would paint Silly in the water, and now that she's out of water, she's in the sun, I decided to start giving her a much darker tone than what I would usually give her somewhat of a tanned look. Now, if you don't know me, my skin is pretty dark, so that's why I'm giving Silly, well, it's not really dark, but it's somewhat dark, so that's why I've been changing Silly's color. And something that I don't like with this palette is the options for brown. Now, usually I don't like a wide variety of brown, but seriously, only one brown and that's it. Just one brown. There was no other brown in this palette. Well, actually no, there was an next brown that I just realized. But that brown is more of like if you add green to it. Yeah, so not really a brown that I'm fond of. So we have two brown, and both of them I don't really like. One of them is more like burnt sienna, while the other one is like, it's not even a muddy brown, because we could have worked with that. It's more like a greenish brown color. So I didn't really like it all that much. And you can't even see what I'm talking about. Now, one of the techniques I tried using, which was the salt technique, and sorry if you just missed a piece of the video, but what happened is that I lost that tiny piece of video, which I do apologize for. I'm so sorry that I lost that one. That was a mistake done by me. You see, what happened is that I thought I was videoing, but in reality I wasn't. Anyway, painting clouds. I hate painting these clouds with watercolor. I prefer to paint them with acrylic and basically anything else. So that's something that I didn't really like doing, painting the clouds with watercolor, because it's pretty hard. It's pretty much a tedious job to even try. And one of the reasons I feel why this painting didn't really do so well was because I tried to add this salt technique I was seeing, and I went to add it, so I used the normal tabletop salt, which didn't work out well in my favor. So I didn't think my judgment on this paint was fair. So I tried again, and oh boy, I just made an absolute mess with the paint. So apparently it had water inside and it didn't dry out well, and now it looked like I murdered an M&M in this palette. That's what it looks like, all thanks to someone coming into the room. And I'm staring at him right now. So I am going to try to fix the ruined paint right now. But anyway, I've already made a video and I have my opinion about the paint already, so I'm not gonna turn back on my opinion about this paint. And I've recorded this earlier, however I lost the recording, so now I'm going to have to do it again. And this is the third time I've actually recorded this same video. It's becoming annoying. Anyway, I decided to start again with a next drawing, and this time it was with a girl with a dress on, and I have to use 16 colors on this girl with her dress alone. And as you can see, that is a task in itself to use all of these color on this girl and her dress. So what I wanted to see was how well this thing blended, because in my last video I don't think I went in depth with how well it blended. As a matter of fact, I don't think I actually blended any of it other than the clouds, which I did a really crappy job with doing so. I tried again using the dress with the blue and the purple, and to be honest, even though you can see a lot of blue, less purple, that is mainly my fault because I added more blue, less purple. It blended pretty well. Looking at it right now, it's a smooth gradient moving over from the purple to the blue, or the blue to the purple, and I really like the way it looks. Also, I used the rose pink to show like inside of the skirt is a rose pink, and the very light happy pink that I love, that I said looks like bubblegum pink, I used that to blend with the red. Now you're going to see this thing that I'm about to do on screen, which is basically the darker parts are the parts that are underneath, to show like if the top of the dress, some parts are higher than the other part. Basically it's how light is casted onto the dress. Now for her hair. Remember, 16 colors, one girl, one dress. I started with orange on her hair, with a little bit, just a very tiny bit of red for her hairband, and then moved it down to pink, then to a little bit of the lighter green, to the dark green on the next side, and the baby blue really does look like gray from this video, to a yellow that has just a tiny bit of orange inside, and a little bit of hair poking up at the top also has a little bit of orange inside it too. Now, the paper plane, I still had some more colors to go through, along with mixing her skin color. Now, something I believe I mentioned in my other video, it doesn't really have that much brown inside. You have two browns to choose from, which one looks like a brown that someone accidentally mixed with green, and then we have a type of brown that looks like burnt sienna type of brown. But to be honest, I really don't like any of it, so very sorry if my review for that is pretty mean, but I really wish they had better brown inside. If you understand where I am coming from, say I. Like if you're also frustrated with the type of brown that they usually give you. And for the first time, white in a watercolor set was very useful to me, because what I decided to do was basically mix white into the burnt sienna looking type of brown. And as for the gray, I just had to use the gray on one of the paper plane, while the other paper plane sported a purple and pink, even though the plane that used the gray actually came out a lot better than what I was expecting it to become. Anyway, that's all for this video. Goodbye. Hope you guys liked the review. Goodbye. Take care.